Good Thursday morning. We're glad that you're up with us here on 13 Sunrise right at 6 o'clock. I feel like that's what the cold weather is telling us. I'm not giving you up just yet. I'm just going to stick around for a little longer around Indianapolis.
It's 6 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us here. Hope you had a great day yesterday and survived those cold temperatures. So we definitely have cold weather here today again, but it's a lot warmer if you look at the numbers.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, more than 20 degrees warmer than yesterday at this time. So that's a good thing. I think we've now been in this cold snap so long that everything feels cold, right? But we're actually going to be a lot warmer than we have been today. And some of you have seen a few snow flurries blowing around, especially in eastern Indiana, from Richmond down to Oldenburg and Greensburg this morning. This is now out of Muncie. It's out of Parker City and Anderson. There was a burst of snow over Anderson University about a half an hour ago, and we had a few snow flurries here downtown, but we still could see something today, just not much. We're at 25 officially here in Indianapolis. In Muncie, Bloomington, you're at 27, Lafayette at 21, and the wind chill now 16. So remember yesterday we were talking about sub-zero wind chills. I think at one point Richmond had a 13 below zero wind chill. Now their wind chill is 13. So that's obviously 26 degrees warmer on the wind chill. This is what we're expecting today in the metro. Really nothing more than flurries. Some of you could see a dusting of snow. There will be snow that will stick to the ground, though not much. Rochester, Shipshewana, up towards South Bend and Fort Wayne. Now, I think the real story is the change in the jet stream. Right now, it's cold. The Pacific flow is going to flatten out almost along I-70. And what that will mean is it will go from the low 30s today for a high to almost 40 degrees. In fact, I think Bedford and Bloomington will get up to 40 plus tomorrow. So let's look at today's forecast then. Kids are headed to school. Low 20s will break the freezing mark later today. And just like yesterday, even though we didn't have a warm day, we did see those chemicals kicking in, a lot of snow melting yesterday. Much more on that in a bit. 6:02 time for traffic. And how are we doing out there this morning, Matt?
Chuck, there are two small incidences that have taken place mainly on the east and north sides of Indianapolis. I'm going to take you to Emerson Avenue. So this is off the interstate. This is actually Emerson Avenue at the exit for I-70. You're just south there of the BP gas station with the McDonald's. These are the northbound lanes. Folks have been able to take the outside lane. Police have been escorting them kind of there on the east side, kind of just helping to flow some traffic. But right now you can't hop off of I-70 and expect to go south on Emerson Avenue. That's been closed here with the state trooper in Indianapolis PD. But then we head to the north side. We've got a small, looks like a fender bender on the northeast side there at 465 and where you meet I-69. This is towards Binford Boulevard. If you notice, the camera is moving a little bit. That's that southwest wind that Chuck was talking about, helping us to be just at least a little bit warmer today. And like we've had some of those flurries, but most of them have been off to the north. And when we take a look at some of these road sensors, you can see more of the snow patches once you get into northern Indiana. We've had maybe a stray dusting here and there, parts of northern Hamilton County, parts of Madison County, maybe even northern Henry County and Wayne County. But the majority of the action has been off to the north, and that's probably going to continue to play out. But right now, most roads are okay. Julia?
All right, that's some good news. Thanks, Matt. Well, right now we do want to get you caught up on some of the latest news over a fatal shooting that happened overnight.
So this morning, IMPD detectives are working on leads in this case after a man was found dead in an apartment. Police were called to 38th Street and Keystone before midnight after a report of a burglary. That's right by the state fairgrounds. And when they got to this apartment, they found no forced entry, but they did find that man dead. IMPD says there were signs of trauma.
We do have a security guard here that they are working on interviewing, that we do know. One of the things that she told us initially when the officers got here is that she's been here since 8 o'clock tonight.
So as of right now, IMPD is searching for any leads on potential suspects. If you have any information that you think might be able to help police, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 262-TIPS. And now to another breaking news story we had for you last night at 11.
Well, this morning we're working to find out what led to a deadly fire on the city's south side. We know this was around 9:30 on Hopkins Street near East Raymond and Shelby. When firefighters got to the scene, they found heavy smoke and flames at that home and also learned that someone was inside.
Right now, we're reaching out to see if there were any other people or anyone hurt. We will share with you any new information as soon as it becomes available.
It's hard. This is where they left our baby. How could you? Something so little and innocent. How could you leave our baby out here like that?
Really just heartbreaking moments yesterday for the family of 14-year-old Deandra Clay Staples. That was the family and friends releasing balloons in her memory at the exact spot where she was found dead this past weekend. The shooting happened, police say, on Saturday night at the Laurelwood Apartments near Shelby in East Sumner. Sunday morning, someone found Deandra's body in the snow. Family members tell us the moment is surreal for them because they still don't have any answers on what happened.
If this was your baby, you would want somebody to help you. So please help us. I'm begging and pleading, please.
No word to pass along on any leads in the case or if any information from police. We'll keep you posted.
Your time is 6:06. Take a look at this video behind me here. As right now we're working to find out why this truck crashed into the house on the city's south side. We know this was yesterday just before 9 o'clock on Forest Park Drive, not too far from Southport and Bluff. We don't know if anyone was hurt at this hour. As we reach back out to police, we'll share those updates here on 13 Sunrise as we get them. Well, this morning, a third former IU basketball player is joining a lawsuit alleging misconduct by a former team doctor. This federal class action lawsuit was filed last year, but now the current men's basketball head trainer, Tim Garl, is named as a second defendant. Now, this lawsuit claims that Garl was involved in Dr. Brad Bomba Sr.'s wrongful conduct.
There's already an 18-year pattern that we're working with here. We believe that as many as 100 or more players were victimized.
The former players allege that Bomba Sr. gave them inappropriate exams during their physicals. An IU spokesperson told us the university won't comment on this recent litigation. So far, neither man is charged in this case, but a court hearing is scheduled for Monday, March 3rd.
At 6:07 and this morning, we're looking more into the latest executive orders just signed by Governor Mike Braun.
And one of those orders calls for the elimination of DEI in state government. Let's get to Anna Chalker, who is in studio with more on what this means. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning, ladies. This executive order would basically eliminate the Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity Office that was created by former Governor Eric Holcomb. Governor Braun says he wants to replace DEI with MEI, which stands for Merit, Excellence, and Innovation. The order says executive branch state agencies should not use state funds or resources to support these DEI programs if they grant preferential treatment based on a person's race or ethnicity. Governor Braun says he will also be directing state agencies to examine their policies to make sure they align with a 2023 Supreme Court ruling that decided race-conscious college admission policies were unconstitutional.
In my campaign, I've had such a breadth of support from the entire spectrum of Hoosiers that embrace that idea of freedom and opportunity.
We've also received a statement from the Indiana Black Legislative Caucus this morning about eliminating DEI. Chair Earl Harris Jr. says, let's be clear, DEI practices are not about giving any group of people a handout. It's about helping people who have been historically overlooked a hand up. And Governor Braun also signed several other orders related to college degree requirements and bringing those state employees that are working remote back into the office. We'll have both of those coming up at 6:30.
Okay, see you then, Anna. Thank you.
Well, the marijuana debate is back on at the State House. Several lawmakers have been sponsoring bills to legalize it in different ways, though, in Indiana. Right now, those measures include outright legalization and regulation for anyone over the age of 21. There's also another bill to legalize cannabis for medical purposes. The push for legalization has been an ongoing one at the State House. In fact, every state that borders Indiana has legalized cannabis except Kentucky.
By capturing the existing market in its entirety out of the gate, we ensure that law enforcement and Hoosiers, not criminals, benefit from this reform.
Newly elected Governor Mike Braun weighed in on that ongoing debate and says there is need to be further discussing this on recreational and medical marijuana.
Tonight, there will be a wreath-laying ceremony honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This is happening at 6 o'clock at Monument Circle. That's followed by a Shining a Light presentation. The event is one of several in Indianapolis as we lead up to Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. Good morning, Chuck.
Hey, good morning, Jalea. Well, it's a lot warmer than it was at this time yesterday. 25 now, and how about this? When the kids are coming home from school, 33. You ain't seen nothing yet. Close to 40 tomorrow, but as we get into next week, a major cold wave, the coldest of the season coming up. See you in a few minutes.
Well, this morning, firefighters are getting a break as the winds ease in Southern California. While the wildfires haven't grown, there is another issue that is holding crews back. We'll explain at 6:45.
Also this morning, the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas hangs in the balance. But Israel's prime minister is saying this morning that's holding up the deal. That's at 6:15.